Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. I'm your host, the Ranting Monkey. I believe this is our Friday show. Coming to you a little early tonight because I just cannot keep my damn mouth shut. Oh, I've been chomping at the bit on this one, guys. Holy moly. Oh, we'll get to it in a minute. But happy Friday to all of you who are watching this later on our actual, day of release. I hope you guys are well. Hope everything's good in your world. Mine's all right. Normal stuff. As we let people file in here, let's talk about my kitty cat for just a minute. That's right, we're going to talk about my damn cat. My cat seems to think she's my mom. She puts me to bed, you guys. She actually leads me to the bed, makes sure I get in the bed, and then goes away. She puts her little kid to bed and leaves. I am 47 years old and I have a 1.5-year-old cat telling me how to live my life. I've noticed lately how many men out there, single men especially, have cats, and it's good to see, because while I understand dogs and I understand the people who like dogs, kitty cats are just so much more interesting, in my opinion. They're amazing, and I love them. And Phoebe is the weirdest cat I've ever had in my life. She loves to be held like a baby. So she goes from being held like a baby to being mama and telling me to take my ass to bed. Yeah, I don't know. When Lady Monkey told me I could get a kitten, I never expected a cat like this. But I am so happy we have her, because she's just such a great addition to the house. All right, guys, let's get into it. I'm going to piss some of y'all off tonight. I'm going to make some of y'all mad, because I know some of y'all are hardcore on Crowder's side. But we have round 2 of Steven Crowder versus the Daily Wire, the fight that didn't have to be. Before we go on, I want to ask you guys a question. And I want you to think about this. You don't have to put it in chat. Don't answer. If Steven Crowder stopped making as much money as he's making, if suddenly he could not afford all of his staff, he looks at the numbers like, man, we are going to go bankrupt if we keep paying people this much. Do you think he's going to keep paying people that much for the cause? Do you think he's going to keep paying them that much, for the championing of conservative values? Keep that question in mind as we go forward. Metal Minister, thank you so much. Dogs are superior. Fight me, Monk. Crip versus Crip. Cripple fight. All right. So we got some new information today, largely because Crowder just couldn't wait. I titled this, What Crowder Did Was Dirty, because what he did was incredibly dirty. Yesterday, as we looked at this, it's like, all right, it just looks like there was a contract negotiation that broke down, and you have different sides. Steven is taking this moral stance against, being in any way punished for YouTube, not monetizing him or kicking him off the platform. That was a 20% reduction in the value of the contract. And then on Daily Wire's side, they're like, look, man, we got to be able to pay this. It just looked like a contract negotiation that got way blown out of proportion. That changed today. Cryptic, thank you. My cat is 3 pounds overweight. He is pissed because I cut his treats from whatever he wants to a few. He constantly complains. We had to cut back Phoebe's treats because she was getting fat, man. She looked like a furry Thanksgiving turkey when she would sit down. It was really disturbing, actually. All right, so Crowder comes out with a new video titled, I didn't want to do this, ... Steven, come on. You lying motherfucker. You lying motherfucker. Daily Wire said he sent offer on October at 4:43 in his vid. He didn't say that it was sent in October. He said the negotiation breaks down, then comes October and November, December. He doesn't hear anything, and suddenly in January. So it could be that it was done in October. It could also be that it was in September when it was done. It's a little unclear on that. Steven Crowder releases this video. I didn't want to do this. And he starts it by playing this little clip where he's recorded the call that he had with Jeremy Boring. And he plays this little clip. They'll become slave wages. They'll become slave wages. He plays it over and over a couple of times. They'll become slave wages. And he just sits there with a shit-eating grin on his face. Like, I got you, bitch. Like he's Dave Chappelle. Got you, bitch. Oh, okay. All right. Let's look at the timeline real fast. Let's just look at this. Okay. Going back to what was just said in chat a moment ago, we know that the original contract negotiation was at least back in October. At least back in October, right? Crowder registers his Stop Big Con website that he tells us about in his first video. You guys need to join me because I'm getting these contract things and it's just such crap. He registers that a month ago, a month before this phone call that he records. So he registers this. And then out of the blue, according to Jeremy Boring, out of the blue, Crowder calls him up to talk about him and says, I'm really stuck on this one part about how we'd be punished for the social media stuff, about the YouTube stuff. And he records this call. It's a setup. It was a setup. I didn't want to do this. Motherfucker, you recorded. You were looking for that one little piece. And then you play the rest of it. And what he's describing there is slave wages. He's explaining to Steven that, yeah, if somebody else comes along, they're not going to get the big deal that you're getting because you're Steven Crowder and they're not. And he used the term slave wage, meaning that they're going to have to go in there and work and they're not going to get the sweetheart deal that he got. That's it. He never outed DW. All right, I tell you what, Massive. What other platform out there is big enough to pay Steven Crowder that is a subscription service that has ad reads on it? So Steven has this phone call, which is nothing. It's nothing. It's just the same stuff where he's trying to explain to him, look, guys, we have to pay the bills. We have to pay the bills. And Crowder does this thing where a month ago, on the 12th of December, he registers this website. Anytime between then and now, he could have come out and guys, look, things aren't working out at the Blaze. I'm going to do this thing. I've gotten some contract offers. I didn't like them. So I'm just going to do it myself and I'll work with you guys. The same spiel without throwing the Daily Wire shit in there that was so obvious in hindsight. A lot of people caught it right away. I did not. I'll be honest. I told you guys yesterday, I couldn't figure out who it was. But there was no need for that. And he could have done it at any time. He'd already registered the website. But he doesn't do that. He waits a month and makes a phone call that he records. Now, that recorded phone call is important. Because listen, he tells us in that video, he's only ever recorded 3 people. So why this one? Why this one? You got to imagine that if he was getting contract offers, he was talking to other people too. So why this one? Because it was a setup. Because it was a gay op. It's what they would call a gay op in the world I like to hang out with in drama. It's a gay op. It was a setup. And he doesn't play the whole recording. He gives you tiny little snippets because I don't want to play the whole thing. Look, I sent transcripts to people so that they can verify it. Well, you've already played that much. You've already played that much. Why not the rest? He wasn't talking about DW. He literally showed their contract repeatedly and used their specific terms. He didn't use several different contracts. He used their one. He went on to say again in this video today, Massive, that he got him from a bunch of people, lots of people. Well, he still only used that one. You think that was accidental? You don't think that that was? Come on. Candace is shilling on. Okay, look, let's talk about Candace Owen for a minute. Candace, shut the fuck up. Seriously, I saw her video. It came out 2 hours before Stevens. Holy shit! Talk about pouring gas on the fire. She does not have valid criticisms of what he was doing. She was just going, "He's a bitch." That's not helping anything. I mean, fuck it. By all means, say it if that's what you believe. But wow, that definitely didn't help the situation at all. Yeah, he's just a bitch. Fuck, man. It really came off. Candace's really came off like she had a problem with Steven Crowder because she says repeatedly, she said it on Timcast and she said it in her video. Ask people who work at the Blaze. Ask him. They'll tell you he's not that nice behind the scenes. Now, the only person I know who worked at the sorry, she said ask people at the Blaze. I don't know if I said that properly. Ask people who work at the Blaze. They'll tell you he's not that nice behind the scenes. And I asked the only person I know who worked there, Lauren Chen. She hasn't gotten back to me, probably because I asked in public. But I'm curious. The other person who should probably shut up goes the other way. The quartering. Good God, my guy. Could you ride his dick harder? Wait, sound is going out. Hello. Is there Can anybody hear me? Rotro. You dropped for a second. Okay, are you guys actually did you call me a boomer because the audio went out for a minute? That's not me, man. It's just shitty internet. My mistake. My bad. Snubber, thank you. I used to think he was hyperbolic, but not overtly menacing. Dude is going to pay for this. Snubber, I think Crowder comes off looking really horrible here, especially when it came out when he registered that domain. But what I was saying when I started noticing that I was cut off there is Candace needs to shut the fuck up, and on the other side, Dick Ryder, the quartering, needs to shut the hell up. I saw him right after Crowder's video came out. I told you guys. I told you. He had 2 different tweets. I told you guys. Like, for real? Relax a little bit, homie. Relax. It's all right. It's all right. But yeah, he's all up. I think he wants to be the first person over there on Crowder's new network. Live with the quartering or whatever the fuck. Good God, man. Calm down. Crowder is not an innocent party in this. This is a setup. He didn't like the terms, and instead of just going, all right, fuck it, I'll go somewhere else, he decided to make a big deal out of this and have this fight publicly. He could have done all of this without showing that contract from Daily Wire. Notice nobody else is guessing who the other players were. He keeps telling us who the other, but we don't have anything to look at to see what any of it was. The only one he gave us, the only one with the money to do it. Yeah. And he keeps saying, look, man, it wasn't about the money. It wasn't about the money. It wasn't about the money. But you're talking about the punishment, which the punishment is the money. But if it's not about the money, then why are you so concerned about how much money you'll get if this crashes out? If you lose your ability to be on YouTube, the penalty is money. The penalty is money. For a self-produced show, you got to do 92 times a year. Do you know how many days are in a year, guys? It's 365. Do you know what half a year is? It's 100. It's 182 and a half days. You had to work 10 days longer than half a year. Half a year. Literally, the work part of it was just do what you've done so far. Do what you have done so far. Not if it's a leap year. All right, 183. So 9 days more. Just do what you do so far. Now, it's been brought up, oh, it had the line in there about if you get demonetized by YouTube, and we discussed this yesterday. Um, I saw Candace talk about this. I don't know how true this is. She said when she got her contract, there were similar things where, like, if you get demonetized, I think she said specifically Facebook, and she's like, I was already demonetized there, so we just like cut that out. It could have been negotiated out. All of this stuff could have been negotiated out. But the simple fact of the matter is, in order to pay Steven Crowder, the Daily Wire has to get paid. That's why I asked you that question at the beginning. If Steven Crowder was not making enough to pay his employees, do you think he would keep paying them that amount? Or is he going to fall on his sword and go bankrupt for the cause? Because people keep doing, oh, wait, no, look, it's not about business, it's about the cause. And that's what Steven said in his video today. It's the cause. You guys, it's a conservative movement. And he says this, I'd really like to get on the phone with you, Jeremy Boring, and discuss these terms. And I'll show you how to set it up the way that I do it so that there's a whole different model, And he says this, because I don't want people who come up behind me. I don't pull up the ladder. I want everyone to succeed. I'm like, all right, fine. Let's run with that for just a second. You want everybody to succeed. Well, then why does that conversation need to happen in private? Why don't you just make a video telling everybody how to succeed that way? How can he steal from you if he has to save up days, though? How do you mean save up days? You mean like where he can book a show in advance? Have you never had a job where you can skip a day and work another day next week to make up for it? That's not that unusual. Justin Trudeau, thank you. I'm on Crowder's side. He's one of us. Fuck America. Thank you. Crowder is a sociopath. Thank you. Andrew Torba, owner, is now blaming this on Ben Shapiro, claiming he is tired of seeing Christians being taken advantage of by Talmudic Jews. I don't know how I say that. Anyways, Crowder signing with the H3H3 network. I'm calling it. Can't wait to see the Crowder and Cedar show. Look, I don't think Crowder should be working for a network. If I'm being honest, this was said in the Daily Wire thing, and somebody pointed it out, trying to use it as a hit against them on Twitter earlier. They said Steven isn't a team player. He's not. He's not a team player. But he also says this. That doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Not everybody is a team player. Crowder would be better on his own because then he doesn't have to answer to anybody but himself. And that is what he wants. Crowder isn't exactly wrong about contracts necessarily, but he's being too righteous about it. I would agree with that. Of course, there's predatory contracts out there. Like I said yesterday, when I first got to YouTube, one of the big things was the multi-channel networks, and anybody who signed with those was just getting taken advantage of. And those were horrible deals if you read them. Thankfully, those things all fell apart. But this deal that Crowder was given was not that bad. And that was the start. They didn't even go into negotiations. He didn't even go in, look, $100,000 for missing a show. I'm only getting paid about $65,000. $65,000 a show. Make it even. Make it $65,000 if I miss a show, because that's what the show's worth. Thank you, Michael. In all fairness, Monk, I remember Crowder paying his employees at a loss before. Crowder paid his employees at a loss on somebody else's dime, wasn't he? Because he was getting paid by CRTV and then by the Blaze. He still had somebody else covering that. If he has his own network where if he doesn't make, the bills, it goes all tits up. How's he going to pay his employees at a loss? Sounds more like, why are you using my enemy as the metric showing why I lose money? I'm not sure I understand what you mean there. Yeah, look, I get the righteous stand that Crowder's trying to make here. I really do. But it if you're trying to hook up with a business, they're not doing it. Even a business that is in the realm of selling conservatism, which is, I guess, what you would say for them. If that's the business still has to run. You can't pay people if you're not making money. I would go for independent. If I was Crowder, that's what I would do. If he's got the numbers he says he does, if he's got the numbers he says, right? He said he can bring 350,000 subscriptions in. If he can bring 350,000 subscriptions in at the $100 that it costs for Mug Club, not what it would be over on the Blaze, which I think is $12 a month to be able to actually watch. At the $100 a year, $100 a year for Mug Club, that is $35 million. That's within the contract that he wants, because reportedly he wanted $30 million. Do it. You have everything there. Why not do that? Alex Jones is doing it without YouTube. Well, let's talk about that for a minute. Because Crowder is very, very upset about well, if you get kicked off YouTube part, you're just helping big tech. All right. When Steven has gotten kicked off of YouTube and then he's allowed back on, what's he do? When Steven gets on there, and he's been doing this quite a lot lately, and he says this, I would love not to have to come back to YouTube. I would love for you guys to only watch me on Rumble and stuff, but we're not there. Is he selling out? Is he giving into Susan's rules? Is he censoring? Is he being part of the big con? Because he's going to YouTube and he's trying to follow the rules there so that he can get the audience, because that's where the big audience is. And you sell the smaller audiences by having that big audience. You can't tell people to go follow you on Rumble or to buy a Blaze package or wherever he ends up if you don't have an audience to tell. Michael, thank you. Quick follow-up. You would do that by cutting profit margins. Again, I'm talking to the point where you get completely out of money. You're going to go bankrupt if you keep paying people this. There's only so much you can cut in profit margins. When you run a business, the easiest place to cut money is employees. It's always been that way. Excuse me. When Steven Crowder goes up there, he's grandstanding about this shit. Hey, because if I get in trouble, I'm getting punished. You're helping big tech. Motherfucker, you are on YouTube every fucking day. You've made 2 fucking videos about this on YouTube. I didn't see you get up there dropping N-bombs to make your point. I didn't see you dropping the motherfuckers and making dirty jokes about it. You try to play within their rules. You've clearly chastised Gerald when he got you in trouble. The man's afraid to say certain things at times now. So don't sit there and act like you're all fucking high and mighty and that you should be able to go over to the wire and they should just have to fucking eat it if you lose your biggest fucking audience while you are still doing it, motherfucker. It's so hypocritical. How are people not seeing that shit? How are people going, no, Crowder's right. Crowder's right. This is all about the movement. That motherfucker isn't living up to it. How can you fall for that shit? Sometimes you have to play within the rules, and Crowder goddamn well knows it because he's doing it right fucking now. But the Daily Wire asking him to do it, that's too fucking far. That's them just getting there and going, no, motherfucker, we're going to do big tech's bidding. You're doing big tech's bidding by that, you fucking son of a bitch. Jesus fucking Christ. How are people falling for that dumb shit? But he's not locked into a 4-year contract. No, he's not. But he could also, alter and be like, I said this yesterday. Let's try it for a year. Let's try it for a year and see what happens. Over on, so the money DW takes from him is 35 million. He only gets 12. Again, negotiable. He said over and over again by Boring, Look, this was negotiable. This was a kicking off point. I expected to have to pay more. I expected to have to pay more. But Steven just said, fuck it. This is a no. Send me something else. Which, by the way, Steven did not deny today. He didn't deny that. He just played slave wages, slave wages, slave wages. Comrade Kitty, thank you. Hydration check, monkey, for your voice. I get a little animated sometimes, and it fucking pisses me off. This is such hypocritical bullshit. He's taking this glorious stand. The motherfucker was on YouTube today. Donald Camp, thank you so much. Take a breath, Bubba. I am. I'm gonna take a drink too. And thank you, Comrade Kitty, for the hydration check on my voice. And I'll get the other two here in just a second. Let me take a drink. It's been a while since I've been this animated. Thank you, S. Cybertaz. Crowder knew his deal with Blaze was not going to continue. Instead of hiring those to build his own site/network or take a hit and fall back to a site like Odyssey, Rumble, Locals, or build your own like Adonis Paul did with monthly members, laziness. I mean, it's kind of what he's looking. I'll give you my opinion on that in just a second, Cyber. And understatement, thank you. Sounds to me like DW and Crowder are just two friends that can't work together on business. Movements need revolutionaries, and they also need money guys, and they need to be independent. No one needs to be wrong or slimy or have conspiracies. And I hear you on that, but when we see the timing of what Steven did, it's pretty obvious. Jack, did I not send that to you? Oh, son of a bitch. I'm so sorry, dude. I sent him the link to watch the video instead of be on the show. Yeah, come save my voice, dude. There's the link. I'm so sorry about that, man. Okay, and up here, don't take a breath. Rage more. It entertains me. Thank you. This is Kyle. I'm not done raging. I can't believe people are falling for this. I'm just the man of the people bullshit. How dare they try to hold me to the very same fucking standards that I'm holding myself to right now. That's assuming, monkey. No, it's not. How is it assuming something when he makes the website a month before the phone call and then uses the phone call and the website to push his stuff? It was all just what, coincidental a month early? I don't understand how you can. I get it. Look, there's some times where you can be like, yeah, we don't actually know what happened here. This is pretty clear. This was set up a month in advance to push this. He then records a call when he tells us he doesn't ever do this. He's only done that to 3 people ever. 3 people. Coincidence. Thank you, Travis Gardner. I just watched a video where Sam Hyde made the point that he has to make the money for his message to go out after a fan chastised him for doing it for the money. And it reminds me of this. No, I do this all the time because I get so tired of people. Oh, and they don't do it to me. Oddly, thankfully, you guys are much nicer about this, but Sin gets this a lot. Sinatra, like, oh, you're just an e-beggar. He's not an e-beggar, but the guy's got to make a fucking living. And this is his job. So I guess I missed it. What website? Steven is trying to get people to sign up at a website called Stop Big Con. And you go over there and he'll work with you and you guys can make money together in the way that Steven thinks it'll work out. And good for him. I hope it works out. He just didn't have to do all the other shit. You mean the Big Con thing? He probably really believes it. He didn't sell it on the Blaze, though, did he? He's just stopped working for the Blaze. So why not do it with what they were offering? Instead, he brings out the contract from the Daily Wire. Now, you are a very forgiving person. Very forgiving. Because, yeah, this is, there's too many. Fuck it. We're going to do it in the most polite way possible. Sure. But the hope is that you do get that video with the tranny throwing something at you.
You
Hey,
died
Jack,
for
what's
a
up?
minute there. How's it going?
Good. I don't know what's going on with the internet tonight. Here,
who knows?
Um,
All I know is that somebody gave me a watch link, and I was like, "Oh, ouch, you boomer." Yep, can't hear him again. I don't know what's going on. How's it going, everybody?
Am I here now?
Yeah, you're here now.
Fuck. All right. If this happens one more time, I'm going to drop and come back.
Yeah, okay. Real quick, there were a couple donations that came in. One I missed last night, which I'm really sorry about, Evolved. Thank you, Evolved Potato. He said, so they moved on from gerbils and hamsters to roaches. Damn, these are some kinky people. When is South Park going to update the Lemmiwinks lore?
Oh, yuck.
First of all, that was fucking hilarious in context, Evolved. If you don't know what he's talking about, check out last night's show. And yeah, that's fucking gross. And also, thank you, Alan, who donated after the show and said, off to work. Have a good one, guys. Thank you, Alan. Hope you had a good day at work. As for the e-begging thing, I like money. Give me money. I don't have a problem being an e-beggar.
Well, I do get a little annoyed with people like Crowder. Like, I'm only going to do the one ad. That's great, man. But then he's like, well, because if I do more than that, then it's not about you anymore. You got to pay the bills, man. You got to pay the bills. And not everybody has your audience, and some people have to do more ad reads. It's amazing to me, Jack, how we go from a generation where we were used to commercials every 10 to 15 minutes in our entertainment to one where it's like, if I have to watch 30 seconds of commercials out of this 3-hour podcast, I'm just not watching it.
Yeah, people have become very impatient and immediate and attention deficit, speaking of which. Thank you, Justin Trudeau, who says, yay, Jack's here. Now there won't be any dead air because of this boomer. Well, I'm not wearing blackface, Justin. Sorry. And thank you, S. Cybertaz, who said, see, Jack's in the chat. Channels his old man Herbert voice from Family Guy. Get your ass off the stream. Muscly armed comics boy. I can't do a Herbert voice. That's as close as I get. Thanks, guys.
Massive, real quick. Massive says, again, you're getting stuck on the DW, but he never stated who the contract was. And he said it was indication of the industry. Again, he didn't just leave it at the industry. He showed the contract. And he also did mention that it was a paid service and the ad reads. There's only one that does that. That's why so many people correctly guessed DW. So, did you listen to Ricada? No, I had work to do. So I had to go play video games, Jack.
I spent 4 hours trying to figure out how to make shorts in Vegas, which turned out I'm a little bit of a tard, but holy shit, that took fucking forever.
Chris Jones, thank you. Are you going to talk about those two activists raping special needs boys? The story is being swept under the rug at the moment. I am not even aware of that story.
Oh, I am. I didn't know if we would be allowed to, quite honestly. But I have that story if you want to talk about it. It's really fucked up. And it will make you mad.
How old are the kids?
They're young. They're very young.
We can throw the article in chat, but no, that's not something we'll talk about here.
Yeah. Special needs kids on top of that.
I mean, we could talk about the people. We'll just not mention the kids.
I don't think it's possible to do that.
Snubber, thank you. My problem with the new ads is there's no fade to black to let you know the ads are coming. It's just instant. I agree with you on that. There needs to be some kind of thing. Over on Twitch, you control if you're going to have extra ads. Like, you hit a button and you can tell people, all right, guys, time for ads. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. You hit a button, almost like you would have done on TV. Here on YouTube, there's nothing for that. And when it comes to cutting up the videos, there's nothing that does that. So,
yeah, the most you can hope for is that when the chapters are inserted, You know when the ad's going to end because the chapter thing will end right after the ad on Daily Wire most of the time,
Yeah.
but you don't know when they're coming.
Nut says, thank you, Monkey. Look, we've always tried to stay away from abuse of children and animals on the show. I'm not opposed to putting it out there so people can look it up, and I'm not opposed to reading it myself. I just do not want to read it on the air.
Yeah,
That's
this is a
that's a
really
long,
harsh one too.
yeah, that's a long-standing rule here. That
Yeah,
goes back to the Dax days, man.
yeah. I tend to break that rule a little bit, but
I mean, occasionally we have to for major stories. This one I'm going to have to read, and I'll tell you what. If we talk about it, it'll probably be tomorrow because I want to read it myself first.
yeah, I'll DM you the article.
Yeah,
And
not coming at you, guys. For the record, if I'm disagreeing with you in chat, please understand it's nothing personal. Spirited debate is fine. It really is fine.
yeah, I mean, we're not going to agree on everything. It's just the way it is. I mean, me and Monkey don't agree on everything.
DW Premium still has to listen to ads. All right, I'm gonna.
That's kind of weird.
No, it's not. You ever have basic cable?
Yeah, but I mean, I'd prefer it be a little bit more Netflixy, you know.
I hear you, but it's not like it's some ridiculous thing that they thought up
Yeah, I'm
themselves.
not saying it's out of line. I'm just saying
Sure,
it's
yeah.
but you're there for the extra content. That's why you're paying the extra.
Depends on what you're actually talking about with their extra content. Some of it is just their content.
Yeah, but like Shapiro does like an extra hour or two of his show that you don't get to see on YouTube, and they do like specials in the movies and shit like that. That's what you're paying for.
Thank you, Snubberth. I call BS on you holding back on animals, Pebbles. Okay. One, that was on Lords of the Night.
Also, it was funny.
It is funny. I mean, I feel bad for poor Pebbles because her owner was a psycho bitch.
Yeah, kind of tarded.
I still just picture her every time we say Pebbles. I picture her sitting next to the toilet crying before she has to flush this thing. F for Pebbles, guys.
I'd like to think that Pebbles survived that experience and went on to live a happy life in like Montana.
Well, you know, if it's not on a closed septic system, there's a good chance Pebbles lived.
Well, it sounded like it was at the airport.
Yeah.
So it's quite possible that animal did survive that experience. It was just in the sewer system somewhere.
Scared for a moment and better off. Justin Trudeau, thank you. Hey, Daily Wire, some people are just ungrateful for everything they're given. Some transsexual wants sex swap, but now wants to die. When we said, okay, Crowder wants money, but doesn't want to actually work for it, just can't fucking win. I'm not sure what all that's referencing. I want to be clear here. I'm not defending the Daily Wire. I don't think everything they've done is good. I don't even think this whole contract was good. But it was the jumping off point. And it really does look like Crowder set this up to try to get some controversy so he could push his stopbigcon.com.
It does look like he seized an opportunity to kind of embarrass them and try and make himself look like a hero.
He calls this guy up out of the blue 4 months later, something like that. And I want to talk about that one part of the contract. He just happens to record it. One of 3 people he's ever recorded in his whole fucking life, according to him. It was a setup. It absolutely was. And that whole slave wage, man, so many people grabbed onto that slave wage line. Stop it. All he meant was that they were going to have to work for smaller contracts. They were going to have to build a name for themselves if they ever wanted to get a Steven Crowder kind of contract. You know, there's something else I want to point out. In that call, Crowder says to this guy, hey, okay, if somebody comes to you with 500,000 subs or 100,000 subs, and what do you do with them? Do they get the same kind of penalties? And I'm like, well, yeah. Because we have to have the people coming in, to pay the bills. Even in that, Crowder's showing, look, He's not talking about 500,000 Rumble subscribers. He's not talking about 500,000 Twitch subscribers. He's talking about 500,000 YouTube subscribers. YouTube is the biggest platform, period. Thank you, S. Cybertaz. Cut your YouTube red stream feed for Rumble type content. Oh, sorry. Cut your YouTube restream feed for Rumble type content. We've thought about doing that before. I'm not real sure which button to push to make that happen. I know it can be done because I've seen people do it. But it's not something I want to experiment with live on air, Jack.
Yeah, it could be ugly.
We'll have to do a test sometime and make sure I'm doing it right, or find somebody who does it and ask them. AP does it on both, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll reach out to him and ask him. Anyway, because there are times I'd really, really like to have additional stuff. But as Cybertaz, for the record, when it comes to like the harmed animals and kids, I just really don't like reading that shit.
Yeah, it's really difficult.
YouTube made the change. DW put them on. Once again, Crowder streams here now. He's already doing it. And when he has been kicked off, he immediately comes back as soon as he can. He tells his audience, I wish I didn't have to have you guys here on YouTube. Well, he doesn't. Nobody's forcing him to. If he had it in his Blaze contract's over. So as of this month, when he's made those 2 videos, he didn't have to be on YouTube at all. He still did it, didn't he? So I guess YouTube made the change and Crowder put him on himself. And look, that's a reality we have to live with. It is. And I've been beating this drum for a while, especially when we see people who are so proud to get themselves kicked off platforms. Yeah, I stood up to YouTube. Good job. Now you're fucking silenced, dumbass. Now you're over on Odyssey and 4 people watch you. Well done. Not everybody is a Medicare where their audience is going to follow them wherever the hell they go. Most people, you leave YouTube, your audience goes away.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned earlier, Alex Jones did it. Alex Jones is somebody who's been in the fucking national news.
Yeah, Alex Jones was around for like 30 years or 20 years. He's been around for seriously 20 years.
He didn't build his brand on YouTube.
Yeah, he had a brand before that. And because he used to do like DVDs that you could mail order and shit like that. I had a couple of them that I bought off of like eBay.
So the idea that you can just walk away from YouTube, for most people, is not true. And even for Crowder knows it, because if he didn't, he would not still be on YouTube. He likes to brag about how his numbers go when he leaves YouTube. He still comes back. Why? Why is he putting Susan's handcuffs on him? He's doing it. There's nobody who's controlling Crowder right now. He's not owned by the Blaze anymore. It's just him. He uploaded those to YouTube. Why? Because that's where you get the views. He's got 1.1 million subs on Rumble. He's got 5 million on YouTube, closing in on 6, if I remember correctly. And if you look at his views, video for video, the closest he gets on Rumble when he hasn't been kicked off YouTube to his YouTube numbers is about half. And that's not even very often. Same thing with people who say they'll leave Twitter but never do. It is a reality if you are in the social media sphere. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Twitch, or if you're a journalist, Twitter is a necessity, because that's how you get your stuff out there. That's how you get if you write for the Washington Post, maybe something will go viral. But for the most part, if you want to get it out there, you're the reporter. You tweet out your story and hope that the main site does as well. Sorry, Jack, I cut you off there.
No, I was thinking of Mastodon.
Oh, Mastodon.
It's amazing how many people that fled there back on Twitter already.
Right? There's a couple of holdouts, and it's kind of funny because you'll see them come back, as you'll see them retweet. They just won't say anything.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, Ben. Ben Collins, you fucking pussy.
He's such
Anyhow,
a bitch.
I was just saying it's possibly because Alex did it. But again, Alex had an audience before, and Alex had a name that transcended YouTube.
Yeah, I mean it's of course possible, but it's a lot more difficult. And you have to really, really fight for it. It's a lot of work to build a brand like that without the benefit of the larger platforms.
Yeah. Look, Crowder, my problem with Crowder is he could have done all of this without any of the Daily Wire shit. He did not have to show that contract. He could have been vague saying, hey, there's predatory stuff. For instance, sometimes they'll give you penalties if you're taking a day off work. He could have done that, and he didn't. He made this as specific as he could. He might as well have just wrote Daily Wire across it. And then his follow-up today where he played that fucking tape, dude, for real. Thank you, Snubber. Not to mention Medicare has legions of clippers and archivers who put his content out there. Crowder would have to permanently retain a lawyer for copyright. Yeah, Medicare doesn't give a shit if you re-show his stuff. It actually, Medicare takes the old South Park view. South Park comes up around the time the internet is starting to pop up, and you can actually share clips. And Comedy Central wanted to strike everything down, and man, Trey and Matt are like, no, don't. It just gives us more attention. So that has always been the way Medicare seems to do it, and has worked very, very well for him. How many fucking people make a living just off Medicare's shit?
Oh, probably quite a few.
Fuck, man.
Real quick, thank you, S. Cybertest. I didn't mean for the pedo animal abuse stuff, but more for voting Ukraine groomers and clout shit stories. Yeah, that's the type of stuff we probably would be talking about on Rumble. So we were talking about doing some Rumble stuff, but it just hasn't really worked out yet.
Yeah, Rumble stuff would be more things that we know we're not allowed to talk about here. Again, the animal and child thing is just self-imposed because we can talk about those stories. I'm not worried about like getting demonetized or anything over them. For instance, I said rape earlier, and there's so many people. You can't say rape; you'll get demonetized. No, we won't. But I just don't like them because they're horrible stories. I want to do it for things like the election because there's still stuff that needs to be said about that, in my opinion, Jack.
I, for one, think that everything has been said that could be said.
Well, I just wanted to go over there and talk about what a safe, fair, and free election it was.
Yes, we should do that.
Yeah, that's all I'm talking about.
Yes, just spreading the good word.
So yeah, anyway. I'm going to watch on Monday when Crowder's on, though. Oh, talking about, yeah, Crowder's supposed to be on Tim Pool on Monday. It just happened that Candace was scheduled for today, at least according to Tim Pool. I have no reason to disbelieve the guy. But she was on there right as this blows up. And they reached out to Crowder because him and Crowder have been friends for a while, or at least business friends. You know, they've been on each other's shows and stuff. So he reached out to Crowder, and Crowder agreed to come on Monday. And Crowder said that on his video that he's going to be there. And I hope Tim asks him about the website and the domain being registered on the 12th of December, a full month before the phone call was made. Because that's an interesting tidbit that Steven sure as fuck didn't tell anybody.
Well, look, that fence is pretty hard to ride. So
look, it is if you're going to set up a website, you do need a week or two to get it all set up. It shouldn't take that long. But yeah, it reeks of a setup here. But Candace needs to shut her fucking mouth because she is just, wow. She hates Steven Crowder. And that's something nobody can claim of me. I don't hate Steven Crowder. I actually like Crowder. I watch Crowder. Yeah, and this is, oh, you like Crowder. You're saying that. I talk about watching Crowder quite often.
Yeah, you do.
And we joke that he steals our stuff. Stop stealing our stuff, Steven. But I wouldn't know that if I didn't watch his fucking show. Michael, thank you. Something I just thought of while listening. Crowder still gets suspended on YouTube all the time. Could you imagine the self-censorship he would need if he was signed with The Wire to not get suspended? Well, the suspension thing there is a permanent ban. He's never been permanently banned. I don't. Was there a penalty for a suspension? I don't remember that in the contract. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention during that part.
Well, again, that's something you could negotiate out. Just say, look, I'm due to my reputation, they keep an eye on me that's pretty close, so I want to take that part of the contract out. Maybe increase the penalty over here instead.
Makes more sense if he was using DW's contract and as an example, like, hey, these terms exist all over the place. He would have had that information long before then. Explains the domain name too. Again, though, I mean, within the context of the video coming out and the time frame, if you're gonna burn a bridge, burn the one that you just did with the Blaze. He didn't say anything bad about the Blaze. He didn't show, hey, this was the contract that they had me under. He didn't even show that contract and scratch out the Blaze part. He used the one from what, 4 months earlier from Daily Wire. And again,
he's probably got a non-disparagement with Blaze Media.
He might, yeah. But it wouldn't be disparaging if you blacked out the name The Blaze.
Oh, you think Glenn Beck doesn't have an army of lawyers?
He might have a non-disclosure as well.
Yeah. I would almost guarantee it.
He could have pulled up any of the other ones he said that he had.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just find his behavior here kind of dirty. And I was willing to give him the benefit of the doubt yesterday, but after the stuff that's come out today, I'm sorry. It just looks like he was trying to find a big way to prop up his new website and his new business.
I think there's a combination. Venture. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I just had hiccuped a little bit, so I wanted to clear the word. Sorry.
I think there was a couple things going on, and one of them is Crowder's lack of business savvy. Nothing personal against him on that. A lot of people, most people aren't business savvy, but I don't think he understands contract negotiations. And he thought this was the offer, take it or leave it. So when he threw back, I want 30 million or 50 million, whatever it was, that was like, haha, either meet that or fuck you. I don't think he understood that you could nickel and dime this, because I don't think he's ever had to do anything like that. So I think he saw this as an opportunity to use it to boost this other thing that he's working on.
I think that he came at this like a YouTuber. Yeah. And YouTubers are not known for their business savvy.
Yeah, and he's looking at it from a specific perspective instead of getting a contract lawyer to look at it and say, for this industry, does this work? Because Daily Wire is more than a YouTube thing. They've got a multimedia platform going on. So, and he's looking at it from one narrow view, I think.
Here's another problem I have with him using the specific Daily Wire contract. That was not predatory, even a little bit. Negotiation room, sure. The clause that they put in there about being demonetized on YouTube, you cut that out because that's ridiculous. He already was. I guarantee you he got some that actually had predatory shit in it.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he did.
Being expected to work 192 days, that's not predatory. Being expected to maintain the schedule, they literally based it on the schedule he keeps now. 4 weeks off, 3 or 4 days a week. He's got 3 days a week off. That's not predatory. That's not them. Oh, you're gonna fuck over this guy because he's gonna get in trouble with YouTube. No. But again, that's what bothers me about it. It's so fucking hypocritical for him to come out here and be banging the drum of, we need to do this for the conservative movement. They're trying to get on big tech's side, when this motherfucker won't just leave YouTube. He could have done it. By his own measure, he could have done it. Hey, everybody follows me to Rumble. All right, then why didn't you stay on Rumble? Why do you say, I want to get to a place where I don't have to be on YouTube? Why do you literally say, where I don't have to be on YouTube? But for the Daily Wire to expect that of you, that's playing to the man. That's handcuffed. That's being put in a cage. That's doing Susan's dirty work. Well, by that measure, you're doing it. You've been doing it the whole time. Anyhow, don't have much more to say. Jack, I don't know if you do because you missed the first part, but
No, I think I still maintain this is drama that didn't need to happen, and both sides are probably a little bit in the wrong. But I think what happened with Steven recording the phone call was pretty shady and
that was
pretty
really
shitty, and
shitty.
it made me think less of him, quite honestly.
That was what makes me think, yeah, this is a YouTuber because that's some shit Ethan Ralph would do.
Yeah.
I'm going to record this and put it out there so the whole world can see this shit. All right, that might have been a low blow to say Ethan Ralph. Who else was there from the Blood Sports who was recording people's calls all the time?
Was it Kraut T doing that shit?
Yeah, I mean, he recorded the one with Sargon. So, yeah, I mean, there's tons of people.
Yeah, no, I think that's childish and boring and weird. You called them out of the blue to record that call. That seems a little bit weird. It looks opportunistic and
at best.
Yeah,
at best.
So I don't know, man. I lost a lot of respect for Steven Crowder on this. I just am totally indifferent to the man 90% of the time. I don't care about him.
Daily Wires for rhinos and neocons. And that's fine to think, but Crowder was willing to go there. So I guess he's for rhinos and neocons. Remember, anything you can level against the Daily Wire right now, you can level against Crowder because he's doing the same fucking shit and he was willing to go work for him, except for them wanting him to do the same shit he's already done. Show me how he's any different. Are you okay with Project Veritas? I don't have a problem with Project Veritas. I think sometimes they do, when they release their short videos, they obviously, to get people to come watch, they play the most outrageous part of the clip. But the notion that, you know, there's this, they take things out of context. No, not really. They just, I mean, a lot of the rest of the video's boring, so they don't highlight that. You don't highlight the boring part of your movie to get people to come see it unless you're Marvel.
Well, yeah, then they tell you all the funny shit in the
trailer. Oh no, wait, that was just The Eternals sucked. My bad.
Yeah, God, that movie was bad.
They didn't have any good parts.
Yeah, that it ended.
Ty, thank you. Were you a fan of Gambit and Rogue's relationship back in the day? Also, who's stronger, Phoenix, Scarlet Witch, Rogue, or Captain Marvel? I'm not a big X-Men fan. I couldn't answer the first one. You'd have to do that, Jack. And as far as the other one, I mean, being that she can steal everyone's power, I'd probably have to go with Rogue.
Gambit and Rogue's relationship, I think they made a cute couple. But it was one of those hot and cold relationships. Yeah. Phoenix is probably the strongest just based on numbers, but Jean Grey with the Phoenix was toned down. And Scarlet Witch has the largest power base out of all those characters because of the mutant event that she did where she wiped out all the mutants' powers. Yeah. She's obviously written to be way, way, way more powerful these days. Originally, I would have said Captain Marvel, just, because if Jean Grey has the Phoenix Force, then it's toned down. But the Phoenix by itself would obliterate everybody else. So it depends on circumstances, of course. So, and who's writing it.
All right. Yeah, Candace, please shut the fuck up, man. I saw her video today and it just made me go, fuck off.
I don't pay any attention to her, so I'm glad I haven't been involved in that. But it looks like she's not helping matters any.
No, she's really not. And especially when her video came out before Stevens and all the stuff about the she may even turn out to be right about part of it, about him being a jackass or whatever. I don't know. But hers just seems so deeply personal. Like she said in her video and on Timcast, release not gay Jared from his NDA so he can tell us what really happened. All right. Maybe there's something there. You know, sometimes there's fire where there's smoke, Jack. And
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This ends up in petty backbiting and a bunch of like nonsense shit that nobody really cares about except for drama whores like Monkey.
like me.
Yeah, it turns into like an episode of Jenny Jones or Jerry Springer, because you start doing this petty shit where you're recording each other and analyzing that and trying to get at each other, and then somebody comes out from your past who starts bad mouthing you, and then you're gonna badmouth them, and then somebody else will come out. It's a never ending cycle of unproductivity, and nobody is gaining anything, and everybody looks dirty.
Yep.
Yeah, I know
All
a
right.
Jenny Jones reference. Hey, real quick, speaking of understatement, thank you, understatement. I've negotiated contracts up to millions of dollars, and I've learned that people can just be silly and have issues without there being a conspiracy. Maybe Crowder has a savior complex, and DW is full of overly touchy people. See, that's what I'm saying. I think there is a lot of people taking this personally, and some people not knowing what they're doing. Savior complex is a good point I hadn't thought of. But yeah, people get really hung up on petty shit and contracts that ultimately won't affect anything, but they're attached to that one little clause for some weird emotional reason. So yeah, I'm not disputing what you're saying there. Understatement. It's people are very strange.
I'm going to dispute it. Here's why. Crowder didn't actually even try to argue any of the points. According to, and Crowder didn't deny this in his video today. He just said, throw out what you got there. Send me something different. He didn't even go, we would need to get rid of this. Throw it out, something different. As far as the savior complex, I'm just going to fall back on the fact that he's still on YouTube. So any of his issues with Daily Wire wanting him to be on YouTube, he's going to have to explain to me why he's still there.
I think with the savior complex thing, I think Crowder thinks he's a lot more important than he is.
I think he's using that to try to get views.
Oh yeah, probably. But it could be both.
Ty, thank you. Are you a fan of X23 Stan Lee loved representation? I'm not familiar with it.
X23 is the girl version of Wolverine. She's like a clone / daughter thing. She's only got 2 claws, and she's got a foot claw because that makes lots of sense in combat.
I stopped watching or reading comics on a regular basis with the Clone Saga, so
it was the little kid in Logan.
Sure.
Yeah.
When you said the little her, I picked up that part.
Yeah.
Stubborth. Real quick. Thank you, Stubborth. On YouTube issues, did Brittany Venti get suspended? I'm seeing things on Twitter about photos she showed and nudity. I have no idea. I don't follow Brittany.
I heard she got suspended, but I thought it was on Twitter.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Understatement. Show me where Ben Riley touched you.
Brittany Venti. Let's see what pops up.
While you're looking at that, thank you, Justin Trudeau. Jenny Jones, Springer. Why not bring up Sally Jesse or Arsenio Hall, boomer? I am Gen X, thank you. But yeah, I just didn't think of Arsenio Hall. Mostly because I try and forget him. Sally Jesse, she's part of that older set like Donahue. That was for like the really old people. Jenny Jones was the hip one, her and Ricky Lake, who's fat and gross. So they were more the hip set. And Jerry Springer had like the Walmart trash bonanza. So of course we all watched Jerry Springer for the trashies.
Oh my God.
Oh, she apparently Della Hayes says that she's live at the moment.
Whoever screenshotted this, that is fucking retarded to try to read. Yeah, she got suspended from or Twitter. If she's addressed it before me, or sorry, before, let me know, but I'm just curious. Look, I'll put this on the screen so you can see how fucking fucked up this is to try to read. This one wouldn't even help with my fucking glasses. I'm just curious because I came across videos like this. Maybe she was trafficked or being coerced, something like that. I don't know. Who is she showing videos of? Yeah, it's something I'll have to look into later, but I just don't follow Brittany to know. Anyhow, Jack, there is other stories to talk about today. For instance, the Supreme Court concluded its investigation to find out who leaked the Dobbs decision.
I found that out. I saw that.
And in a surprise to no one, they don't know.
Yeah, it was basically like, all right, here's what we've concluded. Yeah.
Yeah, that I expected something, like a real answer. It can't be that hard to figure out who had access.
I think they know and they're just not going to tell us.
I think it probably came from Roberts, honestly. I think Roberts was trying to get people whipped up. So, because I think that little piece of shit is actually a Democrat, and he wanted to try to sway things over. Ty, thank you. Do you think Deadpool and Wolverine will be good? Probably not. Deadpool 2 sucked. What else do we have today? Oh, did you see the story about that Chris Rose guy? Now, I haven't looked deep into this. This is just one person's telling of it. But apparently down in Florida, in order for Ron DeSantis to go to an event, people are not allowed to have guns there. However, in Florida, in public parks, you're not allowed to make rules or laws that say people can't have guns. So, when this one guy heard about it, he went to protest Ron DeSantis with a sign, Jack. He didn't even have a fucking gun on him, and they ended up arresting him for having a sign that says "Disarmed by DeSantis." He spent the night in jail for a sign on a public street. He was on the sidewalk.
That's bullshit.
Protesting the fact that DeSantis was making it so you're not allowed to follow the law in Florida. DeSantis, this is a big hit to you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Be careful. Be careful. Stop doing stupid shit like that because it's wrong. He talks about how, gun-free zones don't work, but then he wants to be in a gun-free zone. Why, Ron? Thank you, Snubber. This work? Yeah, this is a different one. Hey, Elijah Blue, it's a sensitive topic. You don't have to go into detail about being trafficked, but I'm hoping you could clarify this thread. There are claims in video on this thread that conflict with the timeline you gave and could distract from your anti-trafficking message. Oh, so she's fucking with Elijah Blue. I don't know. I know Elijah Blue claims to have been trafficked, and that's kind of what helped her blow up. I don't know. But thank you for the link. Like I said, I'll have to look into it more. It also wouldn't be unlike Brittany to just be, I don't want to say this, spreading nonsense from time to time for a little bit of clout.
Oh, I believe that's clout chasing, right?
Oh yeah, she's a big clout chaser. There's a bunch of conservative dicks that she's rode where she's like, you shouldn't be whores. I guess as long as you only take them one at a time, right, Brittany? That's not nice.
That was very not nice.
Anyway.
A lot of boyfriends.
Yeah, I just don't even pay attention to her most of the time because why? Why?
The video she did on Shoe on Head was really funny. Beyond that, I know very little about Brittany.
She even got into the whole internet blood sports thing for a while. It was funny as shit. Anyhow, moving along because there's other stuff to talk about tonight, Jack. Dude,
yeah.
was that?
Yes, I agree.
Okay. No. Okay, this one's just kind of fun, Jack. A man survived at sea for 24 days. 24 days. By eating ketchup and garlic salt.
Oh, Christ. That poor man. It's like being in college.
Man, yeah, he's on that freshman diet. A man from Dominica lost at sea for almost a month, survived in part by eating ketchup, garlic powder, and Maggi, I don't know, I said Maggi seasoning cubes. Elvis Francois, who was rescued from his sailboat this week, also consumed rainwater that he scooped up with a cloth during his 24 days out in the Caribbean. The 47-year-old got lost in December when currents pushed his sailboat out to sea as he was making repairs off the island of St. Martin in the Netherlands. Motherfucker was out to sea for almost a month, and he lived off bouillon cubes and ketchup. You can't even make a sandwich out of that.
So he said he was from the Dominican Republic?
It says Dominica.
Oh. Well, if he's from the Dominican Republic, he was eating like a fucking king.
By their standards, sure. I just love that, man. I like stories of survival like that where people live off strange shit. And you think when you're living in your, no matter how poor you are in the United States right now, you probably have better than bouillon cubes and ketchup. You're like, oh, I could never do that. If your ass had to, you probably could.
Yeah, you'd be amazed what you can do when you have to.
Ty, thank you. Do you think Venom is the deepest comic character ever and strongest Spider-Man villain? Also, did Tom McFarlane help make him? No, I don't think he helped make him. I mean, he certainly popularized him with a lot of his drawings. His McFarlane shit was awesome. But he was already an established character, wasn't he?
Kind of. I think McFarlane had a lot of influence in how Venom ultimately turned out. But that stupid tongue thing was Eric Larson.
And as for deepest character, I couldn't fucking tell you deepest character in Marvel or in comics.
Yeah, he's got a lot of background and story development, but deepest, I don't know if I'd say that.
Everybody does, though.
Yeah, most of them do.
Okay, not everybody. Hashtag not all. Ironheart.
I don't know. Stiltman has a background.
Well, the longer they go, the more background they get.
Yeah,
because they got to fill that space somehow. All right, there was another one I wanted to talk about, but I can't find it now. I accidentally closed the page, Jack. Why does that happen to me?
You do that a lot,
but I didn't mean to. That's the point. It wasn't my fault.
Oh, he said dopest, not deepest. I don't know. I've always been partial to Scorpion. I don't know why. And
that does say dopest. My mistake. Dopest? No, not by far.
I think it really depends on the storyline because, like, bad writing usually can make a really cool character stupid, and we've seen it time and time again. You take a character like the Punisher, and that you go through and read a lot of Punisher books, you're going to see that is a really mixed bag because some people have no idea what they're fucking doing. And you can always spot one of the anti-gun people because they have no idea how to make somebody like the Punisher badass.
My problem with Venom is he was overused.
Yeah.
And they just keep adding and adding, and then you get his own series, and they make him an anti-hero. No, just they overused him because he was so popular, especially with McFarlane drawing him. I don't even think it was necessarily the writing at the time, just the drawing. The work that man did was just amazing. Ty, thank you. Venom was dope in the 80s. I mean, he's not horrible. He's just not. I think there's deeper or more fun characters. If you get away from the movie tellings of it, the Green Goblin was an awesome character. The Hobgoblin was really cool.
Oh yeah, the Hobgoblin was pretty badass for a while in the 80s because he was a serious threat and Parker had no idea who he was.
Yep. All right. It turns out I'd actually done the other story, Jack.
Oh, well, there you
I,
are.
I knew I'd seen something. I just scrolled through the whole timeline. Like, oh, I did that already. These things happen. Oh, good God. Jack, why do teachers do this? I mean, we know why, but why do teachers keep doing this?
I don't know.
Scoop, Missouri middle school took students to drag show without parental consent. Every year since 2014, the city of Columbia, Missouri hosts their Columbia Values Diversity Breakfast. At this year's annual celebration, they topped off the celebration with a drag performance from Inclusion Plus. Aw. That's a see what they did with the inclusion. Ah,
Oh,
so
isn't that
fucking
original?
clever. Isn't that what NSYNC did?
Probably.
All with children in the audience. According to the city's website, the event typically features a breakfast, awards presentation, artistic celebrations, and keynote address. The celebration is coordinated by the city's Office of Cultural Affairs and enjoys the support of many community volunteers and sponsors. Why do you need a values diversity breakfast?
I have no idea.
However, the city of Columbia had middle school students from at least 3 schools in attendance and allegedly never informed parents about the drag queen portion of the program. Of course they didn't. You think they're going to fucking allow that?
No, we
We can't read that because that popped up there. Avid families, we have been invited by Mr. Somebody to attend the Columbia Values Breakfast at the Holiday Inn Espresso Center on Thursday, 1/19/23. In this event, in which leaders, businesses, and groups from the community gather to celebrate diversity, which means nothing. Traditionally, there are songs, performances, and a food item that usually consists of cold grab and go item. We only have tickets for students and chaperones. We do not have tickets for family members of students. This is usually a great experience for our avid students. Well, I mean, they told them there was going to be a show, Jack. They just didn't tell them what kind of show. They didn't say there's going to be men dressed as women flashing their butts around for cash.
It's a performance art, right?
It was in the penumbra.
Yeah.
Donald Camp, thank you. How awesome was Ben Riley? Are you trying to get kicked out of my chat? All right. I'm not shocked by this. Outraged parents. Unfortunately, I'm not shocked by this. We should be shocked by things like this, but how could we be now?
Yeah, we've actually seen this sort of thing happen several times now. You should just assume the school's up to no good.
Thank you, Ty. We see the new Miles Spider-Verse movie. Probably not. I still haven't seen the first one. Outraged parents contacted Libs of TikTok after Columbia Public School Board President David Seaman dismissed their concern. All right, it's probably Seaman, but it works better as Seaman. Mr. Seaman. That just sounds like somebody's being a smartass about saying Seaman. The president, David Seaman, dismissed their concerns. The email stated, other than the keynote speaker, most of the program is unknown to the public. What? Thank you for your email. The city of Columbia hosts an annual diversity celebration that's something other governing entities. You cut this fucking thing off. Websites, learn to make your shit fit. City officials oversee the planning and programming of the event, and other than the keynote speaker of the program, or no one is known from the program. So wait, somebody scheduled those people. Stop it. Somebody oversees this, and you have to be able to go, yeah, we take responsibility for that. This was a school event. You invite students. You sell tickets to students. You had a permission slip for students. You can't, at the very least, you should be going, fuck those assholes on the city council. They screwed us over here. We're so sorry this happened. And instead, you're like, look, man, we had nothing to do with this shit. For fuck's sake, man. You took kids to a drag show without their parents' permission. One, they're kids. They shouldn't be at a drag show anyway.
Yeah.
But your answer is, oh, shit, I don't know what happened, man.
Somebody else did it.
You're the school board president, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of too bad, so sad. Yeah.
That's almost more offensive than coming out and going, I did it and I'm okay with it. Because you're just passing the buck because you know this is some bullshit that shouldn't have happened. And you were hoping that your diversity bullshit is pushed far enough that nobody would say anything.
I think they expected to get away with it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely they did. Of course they did. Why wouldn't they? That's what's been happening lately. Oh, yeah, look, man, we didn't know. We don't know it's the school board or it's the city council. Nobody at the city council told you what the entertainment was going to be? Really?
Yeah, I'm not buying that for a second. Did
Fucking
they even ask?
Right. Should have been like, okay, who's performing for the kids this year? Nah, bruh. Look, if I don't ask questions, I have plausible deniability.
Oh, tonight's performance is Joe Biden and the Sniffers. Oh, yeah, seems legit.
George Santos allegedly dressed as a drag queen in Brazil as a teen and performed as Kitara. I don't care.
Don't try and sound like a Mortal Kombat character.
Look, I'm going to read this because it's funny, but in the grand scheme of things, I just want it known. I don't care about this guy at all.
I don't either, but honestly, he should have just come out with all of this stuff because it's way more interesting than what he was trying to sell me. Like, he sounds like he's a worldly man that's done some crazy shit.
Well, there is a rumor out there that he left Brazil because he had to, because there's warrants outstanding for him.
Yeah, still, he could have sold himself on that. Like, look, I'm so awesome, the government wants to arrest me.
Right, yeah. However, when I say I don't care about this guy, I want to be clear. I think this motherfucker should step down. But only if all of the other people who have been caught lying about their heroic service, Blumenthal, or just completely made up shit, Joe Biden, when they all step down.
Yeah, that's just it. Look at Elizabeth Warren. Notice she's pretty silent on this whole thing. She's been lying to get ahead for decades.
They fucking defended her. No, look, it's still 160th, whatever it was. She still got it in her. No, she didn't. You're lying. An Indian once farted on her great grandma, and she got some of the DNA out of it.
She got some cheekbones.
But they're treating him, and rightfully so. This motherfucker is a piece of shit. But so are all of them. And they're silent on that shit. They didn't bring up a single fucking time that Biden has been caught lying during the 2020 election. They buried all of that shit. And it's not like it was a lie. Like, oh, he lied about so much. That's why Santa. No. Biden has lied about more. I bet we could go blow for blow on that.
Oh, yeah, I think so. I mean, 3 degrees, top of his class, claimed he went to, he was raised politically Puerto Rican. I mean, just the stuff he said in the last, 2 or 3 years probably would be blow for blow.
So when I say I don't care about this guy, that's the context that I mean it in. The press pretending they give a shit about this guy, fuck right off. They care about him because he's a Republican. That's it. If this was a Democrat who had lied all this time, he'd be president right now.
Probably.
So kiss my ass. But anyway, let's find out about him dressing in drag here. Because I do think the story's funny, Jack. Now, in that regard, I absolutely love this story because you know how I am with my drama shit. GOP Representative George Santos apparently could lay claim to being the biggest queen on Capitol Hill. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, well, this version's going in the list.
Who is this from? The Washington Times. Okay. According to a new report that he dressed in drag more than a decade ago in Brazil and was known as Kitara. MSNBC reported that Ula Rocard, I don't fucking care, a Brazilian drag queen, said he was friends with Mr. Santos when he lived in Rio, knew him by his drag name, and that he was never known as George. That kind of puts a kibosh on the whole, they had a warrant for him, right?
I don't know. This whole thing is very convoluted. I don't know what to believe. But this
Do you
guy's
think
starting to sound like the lying version of Lord Miles.
do you think he was wanted down there for dressing as a Mortal Kombat character and accidentally slicing somebody?
Maybe. Or maybe he just said the wrong thing because it's Brazil and they're corrupt as shit.
He provided a photograph of himself and Kitara Ravash from a 2008 drag show in Ikari Beach. I don't fucking care. He said Mr. Santos must have been 16 or 17 at the time. Mr. Santos, 34, denied the report. The most recent obsession from the media claiming that I am a drag queen or performed as a drag queen is categorically false. You guys are going after him for what he did as a teenager.
Yeah. And since when was the left upset about people being drag queens?
Right?
I mean, that seems a bit hypocritical there.
The media continues to make outrageous claims about my life while I'm working to deliver results. Yeah, that's his job to make the outrageous claims, god damn it.
Yeah.
He's Jewish. He said, I will not be distracted nor phased by this.
Jew adjacent.
He's actually playing this perfectly because eventually a new scandal will pop up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Don't feed the trolls. Don't feed the news media. I don't care if he dressed as a drag queen when he was 16 or 17 and went out there and he was 16. I don't give a fuck. It's not like he did it last week at a breakfast for kids in Missouri.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's a much bigger problem for me.
Yeah, as long as it's not touching kids. I really don't give a shit about this guy at all.
Yeah. Mr. Santos is facing legal security and legal scrutiny. What legal scrutiny? Oh, because they brought up he supposedly worked for a pyramid scheme that went under. And they're like, he got money from them. Apparently he worked for the guy and he got money and he used that to launch whatever his fucking company was. So there's your legal scrutiny for those who are wondering.
That's dumb. Lots of people worked for Enron. They didn't have anything to do with that. They were just working there.
Yeah, I don't know the level of his involvement there, to be honest. But I have seen that story going around, and I'll be honest, I got bored about halfway reading it.
Yeah, look, like I said, I don't really care about this guy, but the allegations are pretty fucking funny.
Oh, it's fucking hilarious, man.
This dude should be writing adventure books or something and not being in Congress wasting all our time.
He should be writing his own comics for like Marvel, man. Just insert himself as Jewish man.
Yeah. It's too bad El Santo is already taken by a much more interesting character because he could do something like that. Like,
can a comic book character have 2 hyphens in their name? Jewish man?
Yeah, I'm sure you could. It's comics. You don't really need set a high bar for that.
Or Jew quote ish man.
No, just call him Jew adjacent and get it over with.
He's near Jew. Mr. Santos is facing legal scrutiny and calls for him to resign, including from GOP officials, over a series of allegedly false statements and suspect actions he took before being elected to New York's 3rd congressional district. News reports have indicated he has been known by various names over the years, going by Anthony DeVolder and George DeVolder. Wait, isn't that like his mom or dad's name? And I read something about his name being different. There's so much with this guy, it's hard to keep up with. I'm just saying. Indeed, CBS News reported Thursday that a former roommate of Mr. Santos named Gregory Maury, who lived with him over a decade ago, said he never went by George and never went by Santos. He also said Mr. Santos wanted to get elected for the lucrative lifetime benefits. You have to be in Congress for quite a while to get the lucrative lifetime benefits. If you're a single a single term senator or congressman, you don't get benefits. You got to be in there more than a decade, last I knew. And
I don't know. I know they get some kind of healthcare coverage thing, but that's about it.
that's only while you're in office.
Ah.
Yeah, the rest of that shit goes away. It's like any other job. When you leave it, you lose everything. You have to build up a seniority to get that shit.
Real quick, thank you, Travis Gardner, who says biggest queen of the hill. Lindsey Graham wants to talk.
No shit.
Right?
How dare you take my that? Maybe that's why Graham is like, hey, tell him to resign. George Santos is whoever you want him to be at whatever time you want him to be. It's just that simple, Mr. Morey said. Well, sounds like then he's the perfect politician.
Or spy, secret
Or
agent
spy.
Santos.
Secret Jewish man.
Yeah, see, I would go watch that movie if George Santos was an undercover spy / senator or congressman, whatever the fuck he is. I would watch that. It sounds hilarious.
How great would it be to have a spy who pretends to be Jewish so that he can get information? He infiltrates Big U. Oh, fuck, I'm getting in trouble for that one.
Yeah, you're going to get in trouble for that one.
That was a joke. It was a joke. Calm down, people. Oh, his sidekick is Kanye West. Kanye does the whole soundtrack for the movie. Oh, fuck me. God. See, sometimes I should just hear me out. He should double down on the lies, make the most wild claims, see how far he goes at this point. Thank you, Travis Gardner. Look, I'm not opposed to that. I am not for these guys being fucking liars. I'm really not. But somebody just mentioned AOC in chat. This woman, as an elected congresswoman, tried to convince us she didn't know what a garbage disposal was. Is that really any more incredible than anything Santos said? I'm gonna say no. So yeah, I don't. They're all fucking liars, and I wish the press would go after all the fucking liars like this, but they don't. They only do it if it's a Republican, so they can all kiss my ass. Anyway, for the further adventures of Jewish man, we'll keep you posted. I just like saying Jewish man.
That's I just think this is getting ridiculously hilarious, and I don't care about the guy, but it's funny shit.
You weren't here when we read the full list of everything he did. You came in late that show. I laughed so fucking hard reading his claims because it's not even something to lie about. You don't have to lie and say you're Jewish.
Yeah.
Thank you, Frosted Glass, the spy who paid me with a coupon. God damn it.
And then tried to haggle.
The lies that he told are so fucking stupid. Look, at least Blumenthal went with stolen valor, something that'll actually get you some street cred. He went with my mom is kind of a Jew.
In the metaphorical or biological sense?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, his lies were just so stupid, man. Biden-esque, honestly.
Yeah. No, and I'm not, Ebony, that's a weird thing to lie about.
I'm not even in that point, but we all know Biden's a liar, but they really are. They're like Biden type lies you don't have to tell. Thank you, Ty. Does China replace America in the future? Depends on if we stay on the same trajectory.
Yeah, if we stay the way we're going, they will absolutely replace us.
Thank you, Frosted Glass, who says Birch Goldfinger. Wouldn't that be Birch Goldberg?
Maybe. It depends. Does he have a gold finger, and do we know about it?
It's Goldberg finger.
Goldberg finger.
See, this is the kind of shit me and Jack usually do offline, so we don't get in trouble.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just some hitchhiker that you found on the side of the road.
Bitch, you and I both know we both say shit offline that would get us in serious trouble here.
Probably way worse than you are on that one.
You absolutely are. All right.
Well, you get blamed for everything I do.
CNN leaving CNN Center building in downtown Atlanta. Wow.
Yeah, I thought this was actually really interesting because that is an iconic building for CNN's branding. They've
Yeah, I
been
mean
there
it's
since the beginning.
yeah. This is Ted Turner's start.
Yeah, this is a big deal. It says a lot about CNN too and how they're doing.
CNN is moving out of CNN Center, its longtime downtown Atlanta home, at the end of the year. It can't pay its rent. I added that part.
No, that's probably accurate.
The cable channels, they shouldn't have rent anymore. They've been there long enough.
Well, nobody said they were smart.
They kept taking out loans so they could pay Stelter and pay off all his victims. The
Sorry
cable,
about your missing child, ma'am. Who are you? Don't worry about it. Your van says CNN. Shut up! You don't know anything.
they're just here to cover it. It's like Publishers Clearinghouse, but with CNN. The cable channel's weekday anchors are all already in New York or Washington, but CNN still has digital and CNN international operations in Atlanta. Spokesperson Bridget Leininger confirmed in an email that the remaining CNN staff and operations in Atlanta would be moved to Techwood Turner Broadcasting Campus in Midtown. The move will come in stages and will finish by the end of this year. Leininger said, "I don't like your name, lady. It's hard to say, and I'm probably mispronouncing it." CNN's previous parent company, AT&T, sold the CNN Center for nearly $164 million to two Florida-based real estate firms, CP Group and Rialto Capital, in 2021. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution reported, "It is not immediately clear what would happen to the building's other tenants." Well, they'd probably stay there. They're not destroying the building. CNN's moving.
You don't
What
know. They're not getting that deposit back, so they're like, we're trashing this place.
Well, that explains it. 164 million. Is that what it said? They'd sold the building for. I really do hope those kids got a good payout from Stelter. They deserve it. He was. That was not pixie dust in those pixie straws.
It's magic dust. Makes your butthole hurt.
It's fairy dust.
You're gonna take a nice little nap, and when you wake up, you're gonna have a sore pooper.
Oh fuck, that's going dark.
Yeah, think? I blame older
Wait,
boys.
don't you think me? You said the worst part of it at the end there.
Yeah, I'm blaming you. You started it. You're a bad influence on me.
Oh, I don't know if you have this story. Didn't some old rock star die today?
Yes. Crosby from Crosby, Stills, and Nash died today.
Yeah, I saw it all over Facebook. I mean, he's before my generation, and I mean, he was still kind of a thing, but never listened to it.
Boomer shit.
Yeah. So, for those who enjoyed his music, your icon, an icon he is an icon. You can't take that away from the guy.
Yeah, and he was in several bands.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's that were very influential in that era. So 60s, 70s music was definitely a big influence there.
So yeah, rest in peace, dude. He got to live. He's one of them got to live a long time, and especially if you've seen him from the '80s, man, that dude's looked like he's dead.
Yeah, well, there were a lot of drugs involved, I think. Yeah, he was in the Birds and he was in Buffalo Springfield.
He looked like a body they found in the river.
Well, he was a bloated, corpse-looking fella, but
yeah,
he's a weird-looking dude who looked like a live-action Muppet.
Yes, he did. You're not wrong about that either.
So, yeah, not my type of music. I'm not that familiar with a lot of their music, though, from Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young era or Crosby, Stills, and Nash. But very influential guys, so it's sad nonetheless. Yeah, Keith Richards has taken his quickening. Exactly, Assassin. That's a Highlander joke, everybody. But real quick, thank you, One Rip Nut One. Here's some useless information. The Jetsons aired during 1962 to 1963. Its setting of exactly 100 years in the future would mean George Jetson was 40 years old in 2062, and thus he would have been born in 2022. Well, if nobody names their kid George Jetson, that's a fucking crime.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Were you talk about Keith Richards becoming the Highlander?
No,
There could be only one.
it was something to do with the Jetsons. I just don't remember what. Because I got thrown off by that. I wasn't expecting. Read the first part of it again. Maybe it'll trigger my memory.
Here's some useless information. The Jetsons aired during 1962 to 1963. Its settings of exactly 100 years in the future would mean
That doesn't help. I forget what it was. Obviously not. I was, people say obviously not important. It was important. It was coming from me, but it's gone forever. F in chat for my brain.
Well,
Hey,
also there were no black people on the Jetsons, so it had a very racist future.
maybe it was Germany.
Well, it might have been. That would explain all the conveyor belts.
You ever met a motherfucker named Elroy?
No,
No, that sounds German.
it kind of does,
Yeah.
but notice they didn't go into any special shower chambers. They didn't show that part. I didn't see any Jewish people on there either.
I mean, Elroy did have one of their hats.
Yeah, although Elroy was probably the coolest one on the show, and the daughter was kind of a bitch.
Oh, she definitely was.
But the robot seemed cool.
Rosie?
Yeah, robot rights.
A room with a view actor Julian Sands, 65, is missing in extremely dangerous California mountain range with winter storm. Friends pray for news as police use drones to hunt Brit star who vanished 5 days ago hiking in icebound area north of LA. Why? Okay, I don't know what his background with hiking is, but why would you choose that time to go hiking?
The weather might have shifted on him. It does do that a lot in these areas.
That storm was known to be coming, though.
This might be some kind of suicide thing too. But what all I have to say to this is he is missing 411 right now.
I don't get the reference.
The missing 411 people mysteriously go missing while doing normal activities like hiking.
Right. Yeah, I do know that story. We've talked about that even on air before, I believe.
I bring it up a lot.
Yeah.
Because it really freaks me out. As somebody that's been camping at some of these places and used to camp a lot, it's pretty easy for things to go sideways on you when you're not expecting it. And people that aren't prepared, they did find his car. You're right, JMK. They found his car, so they have a starting point. But I always liked Julian Sands. He's one of those actors that never got the roles that he deserved. If you ever saw him in Warlock, he was great as the Warlock. That was an awesome movie. But that dude just could not catch a break. He could not get the roles that he probably should have gotten.
He would have made a good Die Hard villain.
Oh, yeah, he absolutely would have. And I think he really missed his calling as a movie villain.
Yeah. Julian Sands, 65, has been missing since Friday evening in the Mountain Baldy area. Sands is known for several roles in films, including 1985's A Room with a View. He's one of 2 hikers being searched for in Southern California's mountains. Separate search also, I hope he's got a lot of ketchup packets on him.
And bullion cubes.
Separate searches also ongoing for another hiker, California resident Bob Gregory.
You think they're
Sands
together?
British. I don't think so.
Maybe they're hunting each other.
Oh, yeah. Maybe they're playing their own Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Wasn't he in Boxing Helena? I would never watch a movie like that.
That movie was fucked up, but yeah, he was in that.
It sounds I don't want to put this politely. Gay.
No, it's dark sexual shit.
Oh, that's even, I'd rather, no, I don't want to watch either of those. I was going to say, I'd rather watch the gay stuff, but only if it's, Kevin Bacon dancing.
Yeah, it does seem to be a very niche thing for you.
That is literally a movie I stayed away from because I'm like, that sounds gay. And I couldn't even tell you what the movie was about. There's a lot of movies like that, by the way. And I don't mean it in the homosexual way. I mean, like, how we used it for kids we didn't like when we were young.
Oh yeah. No, it's a mystery thriller of body horror.
Oh, yeah, definitely not
Yeah.
for me. Is it gory?
Well, he disfigures this woman and cuts parts of her off and shit.
Oh, yeah, definitely not for me.
No. It's got Bill
Sands was
Paxton in
report
it.
was reported missing around 7:30 on Friday after disappearing during a trek into the Mount Baldy area of California's San Gabriel Mountains, where 2 hikers have died in recent weeks. Officers attempted a ground search on Saturday for the star, but had to abandon it as the storm swept in, and it's not been safe enough to restart it since. Ah, fuck, dude. I hope they find him alive.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to, unfortunately. I hope they do, because like I said, solid actor. But I have a bad feeling that he's probably already expired. It's been almost a week. And
Well, I mean, if
your odds aren't real good at that point.
it depends on how well it depends on how well prepared he went out there.
Yeah, if he was just hiking, he probably doesn't have an emergency pack or anything. Most people do not think of it, but you should have one of those little emergency. They're little orange things, so they're just little emergency sleeping bags to keep you warm, and
Mhm.
one of those big reflective tinfoil blankets because then you can signal planes as well as keep warm, and some matches, and preferably a personal locator beacon. So if you're hurt or something, you can signal for help immediately. And believe me, if you're going out in a place like Mount Baldy, spend the $400 and get a fucking personal locator beacon.
Yeah, like I said, I hope they find him alive because lots can go wrong when you're hiking, especially in fucking mountains, man.
Yeah, and at 65, you're hiking, even in good physical condition, you can strain yourself very easily or get hurt. And if that's why you should always have the buddy system too. There should always be somebody with you. This is really sad because I'm not real positive it's going to have a good outcome.
I'm
Uh,
hopeful. I'm hopeful.
yeah, I mean, I would like to be, but
It
I've been
well,
really
there's
cynical
there's two
lately.
things. It depends on how experienced he is as a hiker and how prepared he went out. I mean, it's
Yeah,
very possible he did prepare for something like this, and he's stuck somewhere he just can't get out of. That could be a thing.
yeah, and hopefully he knows enough to hunker down and try and signal for help. Because the more you wander around, the harder it is to find you. So find a safe area, build a shelter, and signal for help.
JB, I'm with you on that. How about a big cup of stay the fuck home? I'm with you.
Yeah. No understatement. You're not wrong. Hiking alone is some white people stuff. That and swimming with sharks. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm not a big fan of swimming in the ocean. Giant monsters live there, and
Oh,
sharks.
I love swimming in the ocean. It's my favorite place to swim, honestly.
Yeah, and hiking, camping alone is really, really dangerous. There are psychos
Look,
out there, if nothing else.
I don't like walking. Why would I go walking where it's harder?
That's actually a really good point.
I mean, that's what hiking is. Like, walking is just too damn easy. Let's add some death to it.
Some risk of mortal death, mortal danger. Yeah, Eagle said he got lost in the Tennessee mountains. Look, as a Boy Scout, I got my Eagle Scout, did a lot of orienteering and shit. And I've been lost before. It's easy to do. You get a little turned around, you're not 100% sure, and you start to get nervous and you don't think right. And the more scared you are, the more irrational you become, the worse things get. And then you've got fears of like hypothermia because he's in the mountains, which could lead to paradoxical undressing, which you're going to be in even worse shape then. And the more you panic, the worse your situation becomes. So it's best to just find a spot that's relatively safe, hunker down, and try and get attention. Uh, Going out alone is just insanely dangerous. It's not something anybody should be doing. But
Carrier says,
if you wanted to wander off and die, this is a good way to do it.
by the way, that's good news or good advice for swimming too. You should not go swimming by yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Too much can go wrong. Yeah, you're not wrong, Oki. Don't give that shit to anyone.
Uh,
Uh,
Carrier
Real quick,
says, I'll swim in the creek like a normal person. That's where leeches live. I ain't doing that shit.
that's also where animals pee.
I am technically an animal, so you're not wrong.
Yeah. Thank you, Circus Zero. You hear Alec Baldwin was charged for the Rush shooting. Yes. I was kind of surprised, but kind of not, because it was pretty obvious they were leaning toward that. I didn't think they'd actually
Dude.
do it though.
I do want to talk about that briefly before we get to this last story here, because
Mhm.
that is one thing I did see on the Timcast because I didn't get it turned off fast enough. They started talking about the Baldwin shooting, and Tim Pool basically accused Alec Baldwin of open murder.
No, I think that was more just incompetence.
Nope, because he said they found what 5 bullets on the set, live bullets, and one of them was in Alex's bandolier.
Yeah, that the prop master handed him.
Mm. No, you see, Alec had a disagreement because of the whole thing with the crew and stuff, and she was a thorn in his side, so he set it up and killed her. Like, dude, that's
That's a
defamation, actually.
Yeah, that's a bold claim. I'd like to see some actual evidence on that.
Because even I told you guys, I called it. Well, what you're calling is murder, and what they charge him with was manslaughter, an accidental shooting,
Yeah, was it involuntary?
involuntary, yeah. And the reasoning being is neglect. They're not actually accusing him of purposefully killing somebody. It was just neglectful that led to somebody's death.
Yeah, it was negligence. I
Yep.
mean, I think involuntary manslaughter fits that pretty well. He didn't check the gun like he should have. And most actors are lazy, so
Well,
I don't think he did it on purpose. There's no evidence of that. You can see it in the footage that was filmed when he shot her, where he looks like a deer in headlights. Like, oh my god, what just happened?
well, no, you see, when you shoot somebody, that's the face you make.
Uh,
When you purposefully murder somebody, you're like, oh my God, I actually did it.
yeah, that's not the face I'd make, but you know,
I honestly think you'll probably get off on this because when it does go to a jury and they're told, look, actors, that's handed to them, unless he's the one that went and got the gun himself. I mean, you can make the case that the studio backing it and it's his company was negligent, but to put that on a single person in a criminal matter,
yeah.
I just don't think that they're going to be able to pull that one off, honestly.
The armor is definitely much more at fault here
Yep.
because that's the person that I think that woman
Well,
should have been charged because I think it was the male armor they charged, right?
whoever it is that's the last one that touches the gun before it's handed to what the last one who's supposed to check it,
Yeah.
because it's supposed to get checked and then it's handed off to the AD or the director and then to the actor. That's the person that should be facing the involuntary manslaughter charge. I
Yeah.
don't like Alec Baldwin. I think a lot of this seems very fishy, especially the cover up. I think, again, cover up worse than the crime. How often we see that, Jack?
Yeah.
But I don't think you can pin this even involuntary manslaughter on him. Just my opinion, guys. I could be wrong. You didn't watch the confession.
Yeah, I don't know.
But you didn't watch the confession video, Monk. Is this the video that was going around the other day with him in the in the box where the police were questioning him? No, I didn't see that. Alan, thank you so much. Hello, guys. Hello.
Hey, Alan. Yeah, I don't think Alex is going to do any real time. At best, they're going to knock it down to some trivial charge, and he might do 30 days in jail at the absolute most. But I'd be shocked if he got any jail time. Civilly, though, I think he's going to be paying a lot of money out.
Foreign says incorrect. New Mexico Supreme Court ruled before that who loaded it is irrelevant. Holder of the gun, it will still be liable. In a movie setting?
Maybe. Yeah, but I think that's why they brought the charge. Whether it goes through or not, I don't know. But they probably it probably did fit for what they're charging him. He already settled the civil suits. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, he did settle the civil suits. But it was the company that settles the civil suit. And yeah, I mean that was going to happen. I mean it's still wrongful death that was caused by negligence on the set.
Yeah, the whole thing is tragic, and these people didn't need to die. And it's because there was too much laxity on the set. People fucking around, playing with firearms when they shouldn't have been. And is somebody responsible for these people's death? Probably. And I would say it was the person that handled the guns.
Yeah, the one who was supposed to check it. And there are rules about this stuff. There's literally safety rules about who's supposed to check that gun and make sure that it's not live. And if it's not the actor, which I've never heard of a place where it is, then it's on the other person. And I know a lot of people hate Alec Baldwin, but that doesn't make him guilty here. No more
It makes
other than being in charge of the production and having shoddy staff.
Yeah. There's a lot of incompetence here. And I think civilly is probably the only way you're really going to get any justice here. But the other person charged is the one that's probably going to go to jail. Alec, like I said, probably gets a slap on the wrist of some kind, but I honestly think he's just too stupid around guns. Like the Danger said, he's an anti-gun actor, and they tend to not know what they're doing. So he probably didn't even know how to check it. But I don't know. We'll see how it plays out.
The assistant director already pleaded out. Again, isn't the AD the one that finally hands it to the actor?
I don't know, but they didn't follow proper protocol on that one either, because somebody else that wasn't the weapons master handed it to him. It was like the ADA or something.
Yeah, but if I remember correctly, that is the procedure, because the weapon master passes it off to the director or the AD, and they're the ones who hand it to the actor. Because they hand it to them, they tell them that it's cold. The AD or the director, whoever is the one it's handed to, calls out that it's cold, and then it's passed to the actor.
Yeah, I think that's right. I don't know, but they're charging somebody that should have been in charge of the guns. So apparently, there's just a lot of incompetence and poor training. Yes, the American Dental Association.
Correct. And I really do. I really don't think that Alec's going to end up having any criminal liability here.
No, I think he's probably going to get off the
and
hook.
Even if he is, Tim Pool, what you said is defamatory. You're big enough that you might want to start being careful, because Alec's going to need some legal money.
Yeah.
You might want to be careful. Bradley Stryker combat vehicles being sent to Ukraine from U.S. stocks. We knew about the Bradleys. The Defense Department announced Thursday another security assistance package for Ukraine that will provide Kiev with about $2.5 billion worth of additional firepower, including for the first time 90 Stryker combat vehicles. Are these for defense, Jack?
Yeah, they're defensive Stryker vehicles.
Are we still pretending this is all defensive? What is a Bradley?
Yes.
Technically, there's a great movie on the Bradley and the whole design and all the bullshit that went into the Bradley. Because originally it was supposed to just be like a quick in and out armored vehicle for troop transport. And then about 900 people got their hands on it and added all kinds of shit and turned it into the Bradley fighting vehicle. It is a Stryker. Stop it. Stryker. Such a good scene. But yeah, it's an armored, it's a small tank.
Yeah.
Insert Pentagon Wars quote. Yeah. Thank you, Cryptic. When you hand off any weapon to someone, the person who hands it off has to declare that it's clear, and the receiver has to check and clear. You guys keep trying to do this by normal standards out in the world. That is not the same when it comes to Hollywood movies. It's just not.
Plus, he's a celebrity. They get special treatment. It's hard to get a jury that's unbiased toward a celebrity.
The Pentagon Wars. I'm almost positive that's the name of it, Dangerous, but don't quote me. I just remember the movie because it's a really interesting movie, and it is a dramatization of what happened, but it's absolutely what happened with that thing. It was supposed to have like a really small budget, and the thing comes in like 100 times more than it was supposed to be because every fucking general's like, hey, we got to have this on there and that on there. It needs to be able to float. Like, it's going to be used in the desert, asshole.
Can we put a racing stripe on it too so it goes faster?
But anyway, you're incorrect. That is the SAG rules. Show it to me.
Screen Actors Guild rules. That actually might be the case. I don't know. I don't know enough about that.
Corey, thank you. Wait, did the U.S. hit the debt ceiling today? I don't know. I didn't see any stories about it. So we've seen stories leading up to the debt ceiling. Even that one Republican chick at Davos, whatever. She was like,
Davos.
um, the two sides. Kevin McCarthy, he gave in to the extreme wing of our party, and the American people clearly want us to come together and meet in the middle. Bullshit, first of all.
Yeah.
And when you go to the extremes like that, you're going to have things like right now where there's a good chance we'll default on the debt.
We're
There's
defaulting mostly to China, so let's have a
there's
good old war.
a bunch of Republicans right now who are pushing this notion. Hey, we no need to negotiate on this thing. By the way, we just raised the debt ceiling last year by in 2021. A total of almost $8 million or $8 trillion. Let me get the right number. And they're like, no, just do it. Just do it. This is nothing to sit there and haggle over. Where you have Republicans going, look, we'll do it, but we need to cut spending. No, just do it. So you have Republicans having this argument that just give them the money. This is where rhinos come from. Paul Ryan's right. We need to stop spending so much. The debt ceiling has been raised, what is it, 74 times in the last 50 something years? Over and over and over. And they're like, what? Why don't we just increase it? We don't need to cut anything. We don't need to cut nothing. Just keep increasing it. So yeah. Anyhow.
Okay. I just looked it up, and according to the Screen Actors Guild, Oki's correct. The actors aren't responsible for the weapons. That's why they're charging this Hannah Gutierrez Reed. She's the one that should be charged, according to the Screen Actors Guild.
What does it say?
It says the prosecution's contention that the actor has a duty to ensure the functional and mechanical operation of a firearm on a production set is wrong and uninformed. An actor's job is not to be a firearms or weapons expert. Firearms are provided for their use under the guidance of multiple expert professionals directly responsible for the safe and accurate operation of that firearm. In addition, the employer is always responsible for providing a safe work environment at all times, including hiring and supervising the work of all professionals trained in weapons.
Yeah, so Oki's wrong. Because
No.
Oki's saying that the actor's supposed to check it.
No, that's not what he's saying.
It's literally what he said. You are incorrect that's the SAG rules. It's literally in the handbook. You're talking about the actor checking it. Or did I miss where you had said that?
I think you misunderstood what he said.
Oki, clear that up. Were you saying that it was the actor? Because I swear I saw him say it was the actor.
Oh. The union went on to say the industry standards for safety with firearms and use of blank ammunitions are clearly laid out in Safety Bulletin 1, provided by the Joint Industry-Wide Labor Management Safety Commission. The guidelines require an experienced, qualified armorer to be put in charge of all handling, use, and safekeeping of firearms on set. These duties include, quote, inspecting the firearm and barrel before and after every firing sequence, and, quote, checking all firearms before each use, according to SEG ATFRA. The guidelines do not make it the performer's responsibility to check firearms. Performers trained to perform, and they are not required or expected to be expert on guns or experienced in their use. Industry assigns them.
Oki, if I misunderstood you there, I apologize if that wasn't me. But yeah, we've had this discussion since this first happened. I know a lot of you guys out there like, no, this is how you do this with guns. It is different on a movie set. It just is. And I saw Candace Owens talking about this, and she's like, no, it's never that way. It is, even in Hollywood, it's not that. Yes, the fuck it is. You're not talking about it's not supposed to be a live gun. That's the point.
Yeah. That's why this Hannah Gutierrez, she's the one that handed a firearm to a kid one time, if I remember correctly. Remember that? I
Jesus.
think we talked about that on the show.
We probably did, but there's so much of the shit that's gone on.
Yeah. Would this rule apply to Keanu Reeves? Honestly, yes. He doesn't have to know the guns. If he does, great. And I think every actor that's in an action movie or anything that uses firearms should be aware of the functionality of the firearm just for their own safety, if nothing else. But yeah, it looks like this is really on that Hannah Gutierrez chick. And
I'm
fuck her, because I think she's a tart anyway.
I'm still of the opinion there's no reason for live rounds on a set.
No, but somebody was shooting rodents and vermin out there, and
Yep.
that tells me how lax they were about the rules.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think this is one of those things where state law is going to conflict with like the union rules, and it's going to come down to state law. It's going to win. So I don't know.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what
Yeah,
happens.
yeah, we're going to follow it because I think they should definitely make the actors a little bit more responsible for what they're getting involved in, just for their own safety.
I think that's when you start to run into too many chiefs, not enough Indians, and you can have a problem that way.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. It just seems like when you're handling firearms, that's one thing that I think everybody should be a little bit more cautious with. Because some of these people are fucking idiots.
All right, and on that, we are going to wrap up. I don't know what game I'm playing tonight. I was going to continue with Anno 1800, but that game is so much deeper than I realized it was.
Oh,
Yeah,
good or bad?
good,
Oh,
but a little bit overwhelming in parts. And so until I get a little more comfortable with the game, probably won't be that. Fuck, I don't know. I'll find something to play, and we'll be over there in just a little while. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out. Once again, just because we disagree, please understand I don't dislike any of you guys. Love you guys, and I appreciate spirited debate. Please don't take anything personally. And if you do, I'm sorry. This is how I speak, and I am who I am.
we're too lazy to make it personal.
Yeah, it's not personal because it's good to have disagreements. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna. If you agreed on everything we said, you'd be bored.
And I expect people to push back strenuously because I wouldn't expect you to argue something you didn't believe. And if you believe in it, by all means, please say so. But with that, thank you guys for watching. Thank you so very much for all of the donations. You guys are awesome. Jack, anything on the show?
Yeah, but first, thank you, Evolved Potato. I don't know why we are talking about the Screen Actors Guild rules. Do their rules even matter in relation to the law? Just because their rules say that you don't have to check, does that mean the law reflects that? Because that's what I want to know. No, it's just the way that the procedure they do things, and sometimes that's covered by their insurance stuff because they say, well, we did everything we were supposed to do by insurance laws or rules, so we're not liable. It's a way to get out of liability sometimes. So it doesn't really affect state laws. It's more for California and New York, shit like that. So yes and no. I don't know how to answer that very well. Thank you, Keldrick. Regardless of what the rules are, it strikes me as really fucking stupid that they keep live rounds on sets anyways. Also, tell Mikey to check his slabs. Yeah, they shouldn't have live rounds on the set. That's dumb. That's just irresponsible. And I guarantee you, whoever did that should be held liable as well.
Oh, Keldrick, thank you. I'm so sorry. Yeah, this was 7 minutes ago. As an American myself, I don't actually want them to come together. There's already enough gross sex going on in the world. That's gross. I'm sorry, Jack. Did you do your shill?
No. I'm gonna drop some links to some cool videos. I did a short for the first time. I finally figured out how to fucking make that work. So it's been really good. It exploded pretty well. It's got 542 views on it already. So I was really happy with that. So I'm going to drop the link to that as well. But thank you guys for the donations. You guys are awesome.
Twitch.tv/ranting monkey. Be over there in a little while. Twitch/TV. No, Twitch.tv/ranting monkey. Fuck, man. My brain won't let me do it. On the Twitch channel, it's in the links down below. Guys, thanks for coming and hanging out. Jack, a pleasure as always, my friend.
Always glad to be here.
Everyone, have a wonderful night, and we'll see y'all next time.
Bye, everybody.
It was a contentious show. I yelled a lot. I'm gonna go now and find a big crock pot.